Hello, everyone. Welcome to another edition of Valley Sports Rewind. My name is Mike Kenichi, and I'm excited today because today we've got two very cool young people on the show today who are doing an unbelievable job with the running club in Derby. Miss Emma Hyder. Hi, Emma. Thank you for coming on the show today.
Hi, thank you.
And Miss Cassie Silkoff. And Cassie, thank you for coming on as well.
Hi, thank you.
You know, girls, I see a lot of different things. I know you've been doing this running program with Miss Ames, for the last, 2 years or so?
We started in February of third grade.
Yeah, we started in third grade last year, and it just carried on to fourth grade, and now
And
almost the whole school
We
is
run
doing
with the
it.
middle school.
Right.
We go to their practices and all their meets.
Nice. Now let me ask you
And
this.
we compete with them. And
Cool. Now let me ask you this. When did you start getting a love for running? Did it start with that running program? Was it something you saw that Miss Ames had a sign-up sheet for and you said, maybe I want to try this, or did you like running before that?
Well, she was handing out papers and seeing if we wanted to do it, and we both signed up, and we went to the practices, and we started liking it after the first practice.
Right. Now, one thing about you two that I'm very well aware of is you two are very good friends. You were friends before this. So, I mean, how enjoyable is that you get to do this together as friends? It's something that I'm sure you two talk about a lot.
Yeah.
Are you two
Yes.
competitive, or is it friendly more than anything else?
Friendly
It's kind of competitive.
and friendly,
Right.
Yeah.
both.
Now, Cassie, most people know this, but you are a very good gymnast. You do gymnastics, I think, for
Yes.
3 years now, right?
Yes.
Talk about that and talk about the conditioning that goes into that and how it's helped you with the running program.
Well, we do a lot of leg conditioning, it's either at night or right when we start gymnastics when we'll do conditioning. So we have stairs there, and we go on the stairs, and we just we go on our toes and lock out our knees, and then we go below the stairs and lock out our knees, and then we just go up and down until we get to 25. And another leg exercise that we do is we have straight legs and pointed toes, and we walk around the whole gym
Right.
with our straight legs. And
Now, compare the two. What's the difference between conditioning at gymnastics and conditioning in running? What would you say?
well, conditioning at gymnastics is a lot of just push-ups and it's also working on our routines, and running is scissor kicks and stretching and
Right.
exercising around the track.
Right. Now, Emma, if I'm not mistaken, you started out doing ballet before you were doing running. You had started that when you were 5 years old, I believe.
I did ballet.
Yeah.
Right. Talk about that, and I mean, you have to be in shape for that. That's not easy to do. So tell me what that's like compared to running.
Oh, well, ballet was kind of a little bit easier because we didn't do as much conditioning.
Right.
But during running, we have to push ourselves to do better.
Right.
And
Now,
it's kind of easier.
You know, girls, I ran for years. I ran in high school, and I'm going to tell you right now, I never could get motivated to run. I hated it. It was always tiring. So tell me how two fourth graders like yourselves get motivated every day to do that, because you're up at 7 o'clock in the morning doing this every day. Am I correct?
Well,
Yeah.
yeah.
We actually had
Sometimes we kind of just stay together and try to tell each other to we say it's gonna be okay, and that we're gonna do just fine, and we tell each other that before every meet or race or 5K.
Right. But let me ask you, to wake up that early in the morning, are there some days you're like, no, I don't want to get out of bed?
Yes.
Yep,
Yeah.
this morning.
Yeah,
We
Totally.
had
this-
practice this morning, but we didn't really run.
We didn't run because we have a meet later today.
Right.
after school.
But so you're doing this running every morning. What is it, Tuesday and Thursday, I believe you
Yes.
girls do it? Yeah.
Yeah.
And basically, just describe what your daily workout is when you girls are doing this running program.
Well, we stretch first, and then we do laps around the backfield of the school.
And
Right.
with the middle school, we
With-
usually do,
Yeah, we
Laps
usually do
around the track.
sprints, laps around track.
or
and
we do our cross country course.
Yeah.
Right. And how many miles would you say you two do daily? Would you get, or even the week?
2 to
Right.
Well, during
In
the
the
week,
week,
it's like about,
about
maybe 10,
15.
10,
15-ish.
which is
Yeah.
very impressive. That is
10,
not easy
15.
to do.
And for a day, it's either 1 or 2.
Right.
Yeah.
Now,
About
We
that.
have cross country meets like twice a week,
right.
which some
Sometimes-
of them are 2 miles, so some of them are 1 mile. So
Right. Now, when you first started doing it, did you want to come back the next day, or were you like, oh, this is so tiring? I don't know if I could.
we wanted to come
You
back
wanted
the
to
next
come back,
day.
so you
Well, I
enjoyed it
did.
right away.
Yeah.
And how do you, Emma, tell me this. What do you do to pace yourself? Like, because you have to be careful when you start out. You can't go too
Yeah.
fast, but you also have to go a certain speed to keep up. So basically, how do you start out when you're running?
I start out at like my normal pace for the 5K, but like when I get distracted and like slow down, I look at my Garmin
Right.
and it tells me like what time my mile is, and it's helpful.
Cool. And what about you, Cass? How do you pace yourself?
Well, I just kind of pace myself, and I go step by step, and I keep looking. Like I kind of count in my mind sometimes how
Right.
long it takes me to do each mile, or sometimes I'll like sing my favorite songs because it just keeps me calm. and,
Right,
like,
right. So after you've done these workouts, you have to, kind of get that mindset that you have school for 6 hours. So are you tired once you get into that first class, or how do you feel
Well,
after that?
I feel fine
Same.
sometimes.
Yeah.
But then,
2
like,
weeks ago,
we just go easy at morning practices
Yeah.
because most of
Right.
the time we have practice after school. with
School
the middle
and
So the
school.
morning one's more of a warm up for you.
Yeah.
And then the afternoon is when you kind of,
well,
Yeah, we usually do like
I-
a mile and a half in the morning.
yeah,
right.
or 2 miles. So I usually do 2 to 1.5. But 2 weeks ago, after a Tuesday morning practice, I ate waffles for breakfast.
Oh, no.
And I did 2.5 miles, and they were circles, so I threw up, and it didn't feel good.
So I bet you learned not to eat before
Yeah.
running.
Well,
and that's
well, you can eat, but
You gotta be
not with
careful.
You
syrup.
have to have like
Not
do you find
with,
yourselves
I
eating
usually
fruit
have-
before you go?
yeah.
sometimes.
I usually have fruit or Cliff Bars.
I usually have
like-
toast, fruit, or I don't remember,
Now,
or Cheerios.
Cheerios. There
Yeah.
you go. Nice. Now,
Apple Jacks.
as I mentioned before, you're into gymnastics.
Yes.
And you've played softball, correct? Or baseball?
played
right.
I did
Baseball.
softball and baseball.
Right.
I
So
did
you
baseball.
two, you two don't just do
And
running.
I did ballet.
Yeah.
Right. You're in different types of sports and casts. In 2015, I think you placed first in a lot of events. You were first in the beam, the bar,
Yes.
the floor, and also the vault. That's awesome. I mean, how did you?
I'm 22nd in the state.
Nice.
for
There you go.
gymnastics.
Yeah.
Great job. But how do you work through all this to do so many things? How do you have one you love more than the other?
Yes.
Yeah, right. And
Beam is my nemesis. I hate it. It's a 4-inch, and I have to do a split jump and
Right.
a cartwheel and a handstand and a leap and all this stuff on it now. And because I moved up a level.
right.
And well, I definitely like floor, bars, and vault way better than beam.
Right. So now Emma and Cass, you could answer this too.
Okay.
I believe you two both participated in the kids running series at Whittick Park in Derby this past.
I
Yeah.
didn't.
You did.
I
Talk
did
about
for-
that a little bit.
I had a gymnastics meet.
Right.
Every day, like for 5 weeks, every weekend we had to go to the Whittick Park soccer field and do a half mile, I believe, and then
Right.
I came in first for the girls in my age group, and I did it before that, like a year before that, and we just did a quarter mile.
Right.
It was much easier.
And how was it? Did you enjoy it? Did you have a
Yeah.
lot of fun? Yeah.
Yeah.
Talk to me a little bit, both of you, and we'll start with Emma. Talk to me about the first race you did. Were you nervous? How was it? How did it? What race was it?
I was nervous and I was excited. So
Right.
like before the race, I wasted my energy, so I got a bad time.
Right, and that's okay. I mean, the first race isn't always going to be good, but I mean, it motivated you to want to do another
Yeah.
one after that, right?
And my second one was actually my personal best that I beat the other day. It was
Oh.
33
She got 28
minutes.
minutes.
Wow, that's awesome. Very good.
My
Now, Cass, what was your first race, and were you nervous, or how did?
I was a little nervous because it was my first race ever, and it was at the Derby Riverwalk,
Right,
and I got a time of 25 minutes and 45 seconds, and I was actually like, oh, that's pretty good. I want to try do another one and see if I could beat it. And
Right.
after that, I like started beating my times, and we did another race there, and I actually beat my time by more than a minute. So,
wow,
like,
that's
yeah.
awesome. Now, difference in practice and in meets is practice. You know, you're not really competing against anybody.
You're not really
trying
running
to,
your hardest.
You're trying to work, to get your times up and getting
Yeah.
better and stuff like that. Let me ask you though, when the meet is going on, right when they say go, do you girls get excited? I mean, are you
Yes.
ready to go and you just get
Yes.
that adrenaline feeling?
I just
Yeah.
I just
I
it
get
just kicks
nervous.
in, and then
Yeah.
I get nervous
go,
and
"Ooh."
scared
But-
and excited.
Yeah.
All right, so you do the running club, and in the fall it's more cross country. In the spring,
Yeah.
it's track. Which one do you like better, track or cross country?
Cross country.
Cross country.
And I like the mile on track.
Right.
I actually set my best mile time in track on the track, which was 6:53.
Wow, that's pretty good for a 9-year-old kid. Wow. And what about you? You prefer track as well, Emma?
Well, I like cross country, but I like certain things on the track, like 100
Right.
meters and 400 meters. That's it.
Yeah, I like the 400 and the mile, but I also like cross country because they're not. I love distance. I don't really like sprinting
Right.
that much, so
And the other thing is too, track is kind of boring when you're running
you
around
just go
in a
Yeah,
circle.
around in a
yeah.
circle, and
Where
then you do
cross
all these
country,
loops.
you could kind of run
yeah,
wherever you want.
run up. and-
Yeah.
Now, we mentioned
Yeah.
Coach Ames. She started the running program
Yes.
here. Talk about how she's been to both of you girls as far as training you and getting you into these races, and what she's meant as a coach.
Nothing but a hard-working coach.
Right.
Yeah.
And she pushes you, I bet,
Yes,
right?
Yeah.
she pushes us a lot and tells us to believe in ourselves and like try to achieve our goals.
Right.
I've gotten a lot faster just in the Bradley Club, and then plus the middle school club, I've gotten a lot faster with running.
Same,
Right.
except I've improved my distance and my sprinting. Now I can sprint for longer distances, and I'm also faster in it
Right.
because she makes us practice sprints and she makes us do distances, and at the end sprint when you're like 300 meters away.
Right. Now, how is it? You talked about running with the middle school
Yeah.
club. How is that running against 11 and 12-year-old kids? Because I mean, you both are only in 4th grade. You're both only 9 years old. So how difficult is that at times? It doesn't make you stronger competing
yes.
against.
It's not that hard, but they kind of like accept it. They just like let us go with them.
Right.
Well,
They're really nice to us.
Oh, great.
Well,
They
it's kind of a
encourage us. It's nice.
Yeah.
it's kind of a
Yeah.
competition to get in front of them, but once you do, they kind of burn off. If you try to go,
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
they burn off and back off, and then you're in front of them, and then you just keep going.
Right. And
So on Tuesday we did a meet, and it was like a mile 1.2, and it was 3 laps around a school, not this school, but it was in, I forget. And I came in 11th, and Emma came in,
56th.
and that's pretty good because we
Right.
were racing against 6th, 7th, and 8th
oh yeah,
graders.
definitely.
So
Yeah. You know.
And it was like a hilly course. It was all
yeah,
grassy.
there was a hill where
It
you had
was
to go like
hard.
this, and then
It was
Right.
tough.
And you talked about getting your best time the other day. I believe you two both ran a 5K this past weekend.
Yes.
Yes.
Talk about the 5K, and I believe Cass, did you finish first in that, if I'm not mistaken?
yes,
And Emma, you also got your best time in that one.
she did.
correct?
Yeah.
Right.
28 minutes.
That's awesome. So talk about that 5K and how that. What 5K was that?
It was the Derby's best 5K.
I
Derby's
tried.
best,
I
yeah.
tried to stay with Ames, my coach, Miss
Ames.
Ames,
Right.
Yeah.
because she's
A
kind
little
of
bit faster.
she's a lot faster than me in 5Ks.
Right.
So I just tried to stay with her, and I
it worked.
did. She only beat me by about 30 seconds.
Wow, that's
Minute,
pretty
30
awesome.
Yeah.
seconds.
My
Yeah.
time was
Right.
28:10.
And Cass, talk about. I mean, you finished in first place. That had to be a great feeling, huh? I mean,
Well,
were you doing
Izzy's-
cartwheels?
no, no. For once, I wasn't. I actually set a personal best like Emma, and I got 24:55.
Wow, pretty good. And you also this summer did a triathlon, correct?
Yes.
How was that? Talk about that a little bit.
It was actually really fun. We only had to swim not even like 100 meters, and you could touch. So basically, most of the kids that were in my group were walking, but I was swimming.
Right.
And when we were done, we had to kind of like go to a bike rack, and then we had to dry off a little bit, put a shirt on because we were in our bathing suits, and then we had to put our sneakers and stuff on,
Right.
and then we had to pull our bikes out of the rack and everything, and then we had to start riding up over around and up a hill, and then we had to go all the way down a little like it was in the woods. It was
Right.
all the way, and then we had to do a little turn, and then we went all the way back and down the hill. And actually near the end, I was trying to get off my bike, and I was on the side of it, like steering like this, like hey.
Right.
And I was actually, both my legs were actually on the other side of the bike, and I was like, this is so cool. And then I got off the bike when they told me to, and then I went to go put it up, and I hit it on a curb, and the bike went. I didn't let go of it. And then I put it back into the thing, and then I had to start running a mile around a pond,
Right.
and I finished first in that.
Now let me ask
Well,
you.
I came in a 9th out of 79
That's awesome.
K,
That is
9
real
and 10,
good.
9 and 10-year-olds.
Right. Now let me ask
And
you.
I'm only 9, so
Would you do it again?
yes, it was
What
really
about you,
fun.
Emma? Would you participate in that or
I'm
what?
trying to get her to.
Yeah.
I don't think so, because I can't really ride a bike. So
Right.
it would
She
be
can't.
hard for me.
Right.
It would be hard for me.
Well, I think you could do it.
They said you could walk the bike too, so
Right. So let's talk a little bit. I mentioned before you two are great friends, your friendship and
Yes.
stuff.
Yes.
So talk to me a little bit about what Cassie. How does it feel when you see Emma get doing her best and getting each meet she gets her best time or time gets better each meet. How does that
Well-
feel for you as
well,
someone
it
who's
makes
your
me
friend?
feel proud of her and happy for her, and
Right.
like it makes me want to do my best just like her,
Right.
and it motivates me.
And Emma, what do you feel like when you see Cassie the other day win the 5K? You have to be proud of her, someone who's your
Yeah.
best friend. It's got to feel good. Talk about that a little bit.
I was proud of her, because I don't think I could do that.
Well, I
I
think
was
you could
proud of
surprise
her.
yourself, but
Just like you ran at 28.
Yeah.
right,
I was proud of her.
right, yeah.
And
So,
I'm sorry.
do you two, how many days would you say you two are running during a week? In a 7-day week, how many days would you say you're both running?
Maybe 5 or 4.
Five.
Yeah.
So those
5
off
days a
days, let
week.
me ask you, do you two ever get together and run together just by
Yeah.
yourselves?
Well, yes, actually.
Right.
Yeah.
Last night we were at the stream, and we were running up and down near her house, and
We have this river and
Yeah,
the
there's like a little
condos.
stream, and we just
Right.
We play around. We
we
find
play around
frogs.
and go like we go over rocks and stuff. And
You probably don't even notice it, but you two probably are in so much better shape than you ever were. I mean, you probably find yourselves
I-
walking faster than you normally
Yeah.
do and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So, I mean,
I'm
go
I'm
ahead.
actually better in gymnastics, and I actually weigh less, and my mom is not happy about that. She says I need to eat more mint chocolate chip, but I already do eat too much. I'm only 51 pounds.
Right.
I'm still in a booster seat.
But the other thing is what I used to find when I was running. After I'd get done running, I would want to eat because
Yeah.
I'd be so hungry.
Yeah.
Do you two
My
find
s-
yourself
yes.
starving after each
Yeah.
practice, after each meet?
After
I
the
usually have
5K,
banana.
Right.
you can go.
Go
I
ahead.
usually have bananas and I try to have healthy foods after I run.
Which is very good for the potassium and
Yeah.
stuff like
Yeah.
that, right?
I usually eat
Yeah.
an apple after I run or something. Well, I didn't on Tuesday because I was just like, I don't know, I wasn't thinking. And then, but after the 5K, we went out to Duchess, and before we went to
Right.
Duchess, I ate an apple, and I had some olive bread
Right.
which I
was gonna
couldn't eat
say, don't
because I
think
have
you
a
ate an
peanut-
apple at Dutch's, but
because I have a peanut allergy. And then we went to Duchess, and I got a little bit of bacon, and I got hash brown, and then we left, and I went and brushed my teeth. And then I went to bed. And then I woke back up, and I found my brother in the backyard digging a hole. I think he
one of
thought
the
I was
most
dead.
important things about running is you have to have a lot of water. That is
Yes.
important.
You have
So,
to be hydrated, or you'll
Right.
get a shoulder
So how
cramp,
much
and it'll hurt really
Do you
bad.
two drink a lot of water throughout the day? I mean,
Yes,
it's very
throughout
important,
the day, the night before, and
We-
that day.
right?
We
stretch-
drink so
and-
much water.
Right, and stretching's important.
We
I mean,
stre-
a lot of
we stretch
a lot
after-
of kids
we
don't
sh-
like to stretch.
yeah.
I mean, does Miss Ames have to push you to
Ye-
stretch better?
Yeah.
No, not
Kind
really
of.
me,
Yeah.
because I have to stretch every so we go to school every 5 days.
Right.
And every 4 of those days, so Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, I have gymnastics, so I have to stretch.
Right.
And we stretch right when we get there to the practice, and then after the practice, so we can loosen out. And then also sometimes before a meet, we stretch, like for a track meet or all that,
Right.
and cross country, we stretch, and then after that, we stretch.
Right. So
To
I mean,
loosen
and
out
you
our
gotta
legs
stretch,
and
yeah,
everything,
It's
yeah.
important after each running time to stretch. Do you find yourself being tired going from running and then going to gymnastics? I mean, are you out cold by 7:00 at night or what?
No, I have gymnastics from 6:30 to 9.
Wow. So you don't have any time to watch TV or
Only
anything?
have
huh?
Mondays and some Sundays.
Right. Now, obviously you love gymnastics. Emma,
Yes.
is there another sport besides running that you have a passion in? I mean, do you like
She
other
did
sports?
tumbling.
Yeah,
Right.
I like tumbling a little.
She did it at
Right.
Just
Yeah.
Tumble.
I like tumbling, and I stopped for a while because I'm trying to get better at running for a while.
Running
Right.
will improve your.
Yeah, and
yeah,
then
running will improve
now-
Right.
tumbling.
soon I'm gonna start going back to my gymnastics
Right.
gym.
Now, let's talk about this.
My gymnastics is all year round. I'm like, oh,
Right.
when do I get a break?
Now let's talk about this. You two have been doing this running for a couple of years. Did you two watch the Olympics this past summer?
Yes.
And what was that like? I mean, it
watched
must
it-
make you want to
Yes.
shoot for something like that someday, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you're
Well,
watching
we
that.
watched it together. We had a sleepover that
Right.
weekend, and then she came over to my house. Then that day we went back to her house and everything, and
We watched it.
Right.
we watched it. And
Is it
then-
fun to watch? I mean,
Yes.
Yeah.
Because you
watching
know,
the gymnasts and the runners compete was just like, I want to be there one day.
now is there anybody that you two kind of idolize that
Yes.
runs?
Yes.
Who would
Yes.
you say is your
Mine is Allison Felix.
Yes.
Right, both
For
in-
running, Allison
right.
Felix is my favorite,
I
and
think
for gymnastics, I like all of them.
for
right?
gymnastics, I mostly like Simone Biles.
Yeah, Simone Biles, Allie Raisman, and Madison
Right.
Koshin.
Right, exactly. Now, let's talk about this.
Almost.
You also have done relay races, correct?
Yes.
Talk about
Yeah.
the relay races
We did a
and the
relay
team
race
that you
here.
right, and talk about the team that you girls are on with the relay race. There's 2 other girls,
Our
correct?
yes,
Yeah.
our relay team was me, Emma, Caitlin Hines, and Arden Douglas.
Right.
And we
you guys
actually
placed
came
first,
in first
right? Yeah.
because yeah.
And how good
we
of
all
a
worked
feeling-
together
now,
and
how did
we were in last when it started, but then when Emma went,
now was
she
that the
moved us
100
to
or
second.
was that the
It was-
200?
It was the 400.
400. So you got to run
We ran
around
all
the
one
track,
lap
And then we
around,
have to give
pass the
it to the
baton,
next
run lap.
person.
You know, girls, that
And I
one-
was the anchor, so I passed the girl in second and first
right.
because we were in third because Emma and then Arden, well, Caitlin, she ran and then she passed it to
Arden.
Arden, and then
okay.
Arden got us to third, and then Emma kept third, and then I passed the girl in second and the girl in first.
Right.
And, yeah.
And you know, that's a hard one to run because you have to come out fast, but you also have to slow down because eventually you'll hit that wall over there where you'll be out of breath. So
Yeah.
talk about running one lap around the track. How hard is that to do?
Well, it's not that hard, but when we're about halfway, you just feel like ugh, because I was sprinting the whole way around a whole 400 meters, and I was like, oh, this is so tiring, but I can't give up. My
Yeah.
team's depending on me. So the fourth graders ended up winning the fourth grade,
Right.
fifth grade track meet. I mean,
Wow.
third grade, fourth grade track meet.
Fifth.
Right.
yeah.
And that, I think it's awesome. And, you know, the other thing is, too, it has to feel good when you girls could do something together.
Yes.
You know,
Yes.
win something together because
Definitely.
at the end of the day, you two are friends, and that's the most important.
Yeah.
You're friends with the other 2 girls, and I mean,
Yeah.
that's what it's really all about. And it probably feels a lot better to win it with your friends than, you know,
Win it by yourself.
yeah, win it by
Yeah.
yourself. I mean, it just has to be a great feeling.
We all took all photos and everything
Yeah.
after,
Right.
and
It
it
was
was just
exciting.
like we took the most photos together, and then we took one of the whole 4x4 relay team,
And
so-
our coach.
and
Right.
one with me, her, and our coach, and then we took one with the whole 4x4 relay team and the coach.
Right. Now, talk about this because this is, you know, something down the road. Would you two ever someday, when you're long out of high school and you're long out of college, is there a goal to ever run maybe the Boston Marathon, the New
Yes.
York Marathon?
Yep.
Yeah.
So Emma, tell me this. How hard would you have to train for that? Give me a good idea because you're talking 26 miles to run that. What kind of training would you have to do someday to do that? What do you think?
I think like a half marathon every day.
Yeah, probably. Yeah.
Yeah.
I would think like maybe 8 to 12 miles every single day.
Right.
And then the day before that, take it a little low and maybe do
6.
6.
Right.
I did 6 one
Now, do
day.
you
and
ever
I was,
watch
like,
those
dying.
marathons? I mean, have you gotten to
Yes.
see
Yeah.
one?
I watched the
that's
Boston
pretty
Marathon
neat that you
once.
got to run that.
Her mom is actually thinking of doing a half marathon.
Yeah.
Right.
She just wants the 3.1 sticker, 13.1.
Right. Now, will you two take part in this Thanksgiving race this year?
Yes.
Yes.
Right. And the Thanksgiving one is a great race. You know, it gets you up in the morning. You have Derby versus Shelton after the,
Yeah.
you
Yep.
know, things of that nature and stuff like that. So it's got to be real cool that you start your Thanksgiving morning. Did you run it last year, the 2 of you?
No.
No.
So this will be the first time,
Yeah.
huh?
Last year I didn't really run as much.
Yeah.
Right.
This year we're pushing ourselves and doing more
A lot.
running. and-
You know, Emma, you talk about pushing yourself. I could recall, I think it was maybe the second day of school this year, and I already saw you jogging with Coach Ames and a couple other kids from Derby Middle.
Yeah.
The second day of school. So you got right into this right away.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you really love doing this, don't you?
I ran 4 miles in Oklahoma.
Right. So you two never, as hard as it could be sometimes, you never want to take a day off. You
Yes.
want
Yep.
to always do
I
the...
hate missing things,
Right.
Same.
Now, when you-
especially gymnastics and running.
Right. Now, when you're running these races, another big thing you have to do at the end of these races is get a good kick. You know, you want to sprint, probably you talking about doing that quarter mile. You know, the last 200 yards, you really want to be
I
kicking it in. Is it hard to get a kick in when you've run
Yeah.
so many miles like that? Talk about that a little
Yeah, because I like distance. I'm not that much of a sprinter, but
bit. Right.
I usually do the 100 at track meets. But my new event is the 400 and the mile.
Right.
And it's kind of hard to get a kick after a 5K, but I control it as much as I can.
Right.
And
Now, Emma, what is...
I did a forward roll after I hit the finish line at the Derby's best
Right,
because I was like,
right. And how do you feel after it? I mean, do you feel tired, or
I
do you have
feel-
so much energy,
I
like
have
adrenaline?
so much adrenaline that
Yeah.
I could probably run like 2 more miles.
So you don't even feel it right away. You still feel
no,
like you could
I don't
run
feel it right
5.
away, but during
Right.
it, I actually get cramps a lot.
My mom always tells me running gives you energy.
Right.
I don't really believe
I feel
that though.
stronger. After I run, I feel stronger in my legs and
Right.
my form
And how
always
do you
gets
wake
better.
up in the morning? Do you feel sore in the morning at times? or-
Sometimes.
Sometimes like when you push yourself like extremely hard, but I don't
Right.
really get sore.
Right. The
I did-
stretching's the important thing,
Yeah.
right?
Yes.
I mean, that really
I
helps.
stretch every morning.
And the cool downs, you have to do a cool down
Yeah.
because if you don't, you do cramp up. Emma, let me ask you, what events do you like doing? What are your favorites? Cassie talked about how she loves the mile, she loves the 400. What events do you like?
400 and 100.
100.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you really have to train yourself to be a sprinter because basically the 100
Yes.
is a. Would you ever
And,
consider?
and the 400 is also a sprinting
Right,
event too.
yeah.
Yeah.
Would you ever consider doing the 100 hurdles someday when you get to high school, say?
I wouldn't
would.
want to.
Yeah.
I wouldn't really want to because
She's got so short legs.
yeah.
Now, would you two ever consider doing the long jump or triple jump?
Yes, I would.
I
No.
wouldn't.
So you're
Gymnastics
just a
would
distant-
actually help
you're
with
pretty
that
much
because
just
we
a runner.
jump.
You don't
Yeah.
want to take part in the hurdle. Would you ever be a thrower, do the javelin or
No.
shot put?
No.
No. So you're not into that.
No.
No. I think what you two are doing is great. I mean, I really admire that. Like I said, I mean, at 9 years old, I'll tell you right now, I never wanted to run. If I even had to run to the driveway, I hated doing that. So the fact that you two are doing this, I think, is awesome. Cassie, you're involved in so many things. One of them, you've played baseball. You don't play
Yes.
softball. You've played
I played
baseball the
baseball
last
for
4
4
years.
years,
Yeah,
yeah.
talk about playing baseball. And I mean, if you had your choice, would it be baseball or softball?
Baseball, definitely.
Yeah, and you've played with your brother Jim, right? Correct.
Yeah, I play with football with him. I'm never
Right.
on the same team with him because he's always he's older, so
Right.
he's always with her brother, and we play at the games together and like.
Right.
Yeah.
Now, Emma, your brother, I think he plays 3 sports:
Yeah.
football, basketball,
Basketball,
baseball. Do you
baseball.
like basketball? Do you like baseball at all? Or?
I like baseball
Yeah.
and not so much the other sports.
Not the other sports. Now, your
No.
dad was a good football player. You're not into watching that or
No.
anything?
He coaches.
No.
Not really.
Right. What sports do you think you want to continue to play? I mean, is it mainly cross country and track? Is what your
Yeah.
love is?
Yeah.
Right.
Not so much gymnastics.
What's that?
Not so much gymnastics.
So pretty much you're focused on cross country and track,
Yeah.
and cross country is the first love and track's the second one?
Yep.
Right. And I think what's good about track, even if it's not the first love, it keeps you, in
Healthy.
shape,
Yeah,
know?
healthy.
And there's a difference in both of them because, again, in track, you're running on a track.
Gets boring after times.
Right, but at the same time, it builds your endurance a little bit. In cross country, I mean, you have to basically, when you get in high school, I know they do
The
like
stamina for
right,
running has to
I
be
mean,
really good.
Yes.
Yeah, the
Like
running
you have
is-
to be able to run nonstop.
Do you think it helps though in cross country that you're doing a path and it's fun to run in because
Yes.
if you're just running on the road or something,
Yeah.
it's not
Yeah.
as fun. But
Yeah.
doing a path, you
You do a
there's
path, the road, a track sometimes a little bit. So
Yeah.
right, and I think the main thing
like
is you're
our
having fun
derby
with it.
course is you do the track
Go behind
and
the
then you
backstop.
go behind in front of the bleachers, and this is the Derby High School track, and then you go behind the dugouts, and then you come back in right after the second dugout,
Right,
and then you do
A loop.
you go around, and then you go out, and then you go up a very big hill, and then you do a little circle and go down, and then you're running over past you're going behind the middle school, and then there's a little side field of the middle school, and you have to run
Right.
around that, and then when you get to the end, like where they meet, where you come out,
Right.
you go back down that way, and then you do that turn again, and then you go down another very steep hill, and then you have to go down another other
Right.
steep hill, and then you go back, and then you do a lap on the track, and then you're done.
Right. So it's
And I thought that was kind of difficult because the hills are there, and
right, but the
Hills are
hills
big.
they really build your
It's
legs up.
the
Yeah.
softball hill.
Right.
There's a
Oh, that
softball
softball
hills.
hill.
Yeah, that's
a
what
softball
we have to
hill,
do.
Yeah.
Yep.
and then
That's
the
real
other
hard,
one
right.
that goes there, and then you have to go down the other hill and then around.
I've been doing the softball hill since I was 4 with my mom.
I've been
Really?
doing it
Wow.
since
So
I
you've
was
been doing running
7.
since like
7.
basically, as long as you could remember, pretty much.
I've been
Yep.
doing it since I was 7.
Wow. And let me ask you, I'll start with Emma.
Mm-hmm.
Just go over some of you mentioned you got your best time the other day, but give me some of the highlights for you that you've really been proud of. Like, what are some of your top highlights for you since doing this that you really are proud of that you've done?
Like all my records that I've beaten, and I just like beating all my records that I have,
Right.
and I'm gonna keep trying to beat all of them.
Was there one race, though, that you would say was your favorite race that you ran?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Which race would
the
that be?
Derby's best the other
The
day.
Derby.
She got
best.
her personal
basically-
best, like 28 minutes.
Right,
That's
and
a
you know
big
what?
deal.
You know
From
what?
34 to
Right.
28, that's
Girls, a lot of times I think kids seem to think that if they don't come in first or they don't come in second or
That
they
they
don't
didn't
come
try
in
their
third,
hardest.
that they
Yeah.
didn't do good. But I think that if you go into each race and you did better than the last race, to
then
me, you're finishing first, whether you
Yeah.
believe it or not. Do you feel that way too? I mean, you don't always worry about the
Yeah.
wins, right? You're more concerned about just getting better at what you do, right?
that's
Yeah.
what I try to do. But sometimes I just medal and I didn't even know.
Right.
Yeah,
This running program, Bradley School is a great school. I went to Bradley School. It's my favorite school out of every school I went to. And you girls are a part of something with so many of these boys and girls today that you started this running program. It started when you girls and the
Were
other
in 3rd
boys.
grade.
Right. So, I mean, basically, someday you look back and say the running club is still going strong 20 years from now. You two could say, well, you know what? We were the first group. And that's got to be something that's awesome
That's
for
really-
you. Right.
yeah.
Special to me.
Someday I want to coach that team.
I wanted
This
to.
time.
Right. Yeah. That
I'll
would be
either-
awesome,
I'll
right? And
either-
I believe your father's helping out with the team, right,
He is.
Emma?
Yeah, he
Right.
he just brings people to the bathroom.
Right.
He makes sure no one's behind.
Right.
Yeah.
And now does your father, he kind of gets a big kick out of this, right? He loves just watching
Yeah.
you run and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And can you beat your father in a race? You probably could, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And I know you could. I know Big Mike doesn't have a chance, right?
My dad actually is getting fast. He did soccer, which is a sprinting
Right.
sport, and he almost beat me once.
Right.
That was before I started running, though. When I started running, I was like, boom, I was here, all the way over there, and he's all the way back there. I'm like,
Right.
hurry up, Dad. We were in the mall the other day, and I beat him by like 800 yards.
Right.
Because we had to go run back, and they said if you weren't back, and we were going to actually get to get these shoes, and
Right.
they said if we didn't get back in 20 minutes, then they wouldn't be able to hold my shoes for any
Right.
longer. So I was like, Dad, come on, I'll race you. We'll sprint, and we'll see who can win, and
Right.
and we'll get there quicker. So we started racing out from the parking lot because he had to get his check.
Right.
Yeah, his checkbook, and I beat him by so much.
Right.
Good times.
Now, in a couple of years, you girls will go to the middle school.
Yes.
And I mean,
actually like 2 or 1.
now let me ask you, would a part of you both still, and I don't think you can because I think it's just the times don't work, but would you two love to still be involved with this in the morning
Yes.
and still
Yeah.
help out? I mean,
Yeah.
something that, you really love, and I think you want to continue to do it, right?
Well,
Yeah.
Now, will you two do indoor track as well in the winter, or do you kind of take a break from the
Kind of
running?
take a break from
I don't
running, and I
really
do
know.
gymnastics.
I
and worry
haven't
about
done
it.
winter running yet,
Right.
so I don't really know.
It's
what
different
they do.
inside, but at the same time, it keeps you in shape.
It's warm.
Yeah.
That's the main thing. You know,
'cause
stuff
it's in a
like
gym
that.
and stuff.
How, I mean, what's the goal for you two for this school year? Like, honestly, Emma, we'll start with you. With what goal do you have as far as running goes for this year?
Like I said before, I just want to beat all my records that I've gotten.
Right. And Cass, what's your goal for this?
My
coming
goal
school
for
year?
the mile is probably to run a 6-minute mile instead of 6:53, because I feel like that would just get me more ready for the mile on a track.
Right, and you know, girls, as you can see, your coach walked in, and Cass,
Yes.
you told me earlier, she calls you the queen of what?
The mile.
Right. So just talk about what Miss Ames has meant as far as a mentor and someone that you really look up to.
Well, next to all my favorite people in gymnastics and Alice and Felix, she's up there with them.
Right. Emma,
Um,
what has she meant to you so far, and how you've gotten a lot better just working with her, correct?
Yeah.
Right.
She pushes me. She's definitely one
pushes
of
all
my
of
best
us.
coaches, though.
Right. And I bet there's times you want to argue with her, right?
Yeah.
Because you don't
Yeah.
want to.
Definitely.
Right. But it's really going good, and I
Mm.
mean, again, what you girls are doing, I think is great. I think it's great that you're both
Her
playing
Garmin
other
just went off.
sports as well. And you girls are also good students, correct? So I
Yes.
mean,
Yes.
90s and above.
right. So all this work you're putting in, you said you don't get home till 9 o'clock some days, and I'm sure you
Well,
don't
I get home after school, but then
So when do you two find time to study and get these good grades?
when we
That's
get
what
home,
I want to know.
when we get home, when we get home from
But
school,
it's
'cause
important
then we have a
that-
little
It's
time till we
important
go to
have
practice
good
and
grades,
stuff.
right? Because that has to be the number one thing. The running
Yeah.
is fun, but you two really have to work hard on, you know, your education.
I study my
and-
spelling words and
Right.
vocab words and
I
everything
do it
every
like
night.
8 o'clock at night.
Right. So you're studying schoolwork, you're running. I mean, again, you two are always on the go. Do you ever sleep?
Yes.
Yeah.
Right.
I fall asleep at about 9:30ish because I have to take a shower at night.
Right. Emma, I'll
and that
start
takes
with
me about 30 minutes.
Emma, I'll start with you. Before we finish here today, where does Emma Hyder want to be with running, say, in the next 5 years? Just give me the next 5 years. What do you want to be doing? Do you want to be doing cross country and track? I mean, what's your
Yeah.
goals in 5 years?
Cross country, track. That's pretty much it.
Right. And
Just to beat all
what's
my
the goal
goals,
you
as
want
I
for
said.
yourself, though, in 5 years? Just to continue to get better? It's not always about finishing first or
Yep.
anything. Just keep getting better at what you do, right?
Yeah.
Right. And Cass, what's your goal in the next 5 years?
Well, my goal in the next 5 years for both sports or just running?
Right. Pretty much.
Just running or both sports.
Right. Well, I think it's awesome. I think what you two are doing is great. I think you two should be proud of yourselves. I think this
I have
running,
a goal for both sports, so
I know you do. I think this running program is awesome. And again, like I said, you girls are a part of this program that started, what, a year ago, 2 years ago?
2 years
and
almost.
20 years from now, when kids are going to Bradley School and they're still doing this running program, you could probably drive by with your car someday and say, you know
oh
what?
no, we're not
We
going to
started
drive.
that."
We're going to run.
And we're gonna run, right? Well,
Yeah.
I congratulate you both. I think you're doing awesome, and I wish you both the best of luck. And I want to thank you for coming on today.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, and that was Emma Hyder and Cassie Silkoff,
We had a great
the-
time.
the little running warriors, and they are doing great things.
And the
with
Queen of the
Bradley
Mile.
School running program, the Derby Middle School program, and it was an honor to have them on. Until next time, I'm Mike Kenichi for Valley Sports Rewind, saying goodbye, everyone.